This is a terrible angle. Hey guys, how to replace this? Most treadmills have their drive motors in the front, underneath the motor hood. But the treadmill we're going to be working on today is actually a Nordictrack X9i. So that is located underneath the actual treadmill. So if you have one of these type of treadmills, you're going to want to flip it over and then check out the motor hood towards the bottom, which is right here. And of course, you're going to want to remove this to get to the drive motor. Now that that's off, there are a couple problems. Now, if you look over here, the drive motor's held on by 2 bolts, and what we're gonna have to do is remove those. But on top of that, if you look here, these straps are holding the wires of the drive motor. So we're gonna have to snip those to free the wires out. And then if you look towards this direction, the wires are in the board, plugged into the board at this awkward angle. This treadmill, unfortunately, has this plate holding the motor controller board down. So we can try and make an effort in unplugging these at this awkward angle, but that's just gonna make things hard. Rather, we're gonna take this plate off with the resistor off so we can put the board like that, facing us, and then remove the wiring from it. Once we do all that, then we can set this drive motor free. To save even more time, there are wires right here that we're just gonna unplug real quick. There we go. And then there's also one traveling all the way down to the switch. Bam. Now we're gonna get some cutters and cut all the straps that we see that are in here. Now that that's free, as you can see, we're going to want to remove this frame, and in order to do that, first we have to remove the resistor by these 2 screws. The reason being is because there's a bolt right there that we're going to need to remove too, along with these 2 in the corner. There we go. Now we have the board facing out. We can disconnect the wiring that is connected to the drive motor and then move forward to disconnecting the drive motor from the frame. Please make sure to memorize exactly where these connections are. Otherwise, you're not going to know how to put them back correctly, and then you have another whole mess to fix. If you want to know which wires go to which port on the board, just refer to your manual that you received with your treadmill. So we got these free. All that's left is these 2 bolts right here, and then once we get those detached, we'll be able to remove the entire drive motor. There we go. Now there's going to be a belt attached to this pulley. Make sure to take that off. That way you're not tugging on it. So it's out and the spare is right over there. And what we're gonna do is just to install, put that drive motor back in this little groove area right here. Make sure that this belt is on the pulley and the ribs of the belt is in the grooves of the pulley. Then we're going to put 2 bolts right here to pin the drive motor to the frame. And then all we have to do left is make the connections between the drive motor's wires and the board's wires and re-screw this back in to the frame here. So everything is back in position. The drive motor is bolted to the frame, and then the wires of the drive motor is connected through all the connections that we had before. And last, the motor controller board is pinned back to the frame through the screws that we unscrewed. Also, the resistor is where it needs to be as well. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that I remember last time I mentioned the belt has to be re-put back on the drive motor pulley. One thing that might happen as you're doing that is the other end of the belt is attached to the roller pulley, and that can actually pop off. Now, that actually happened while I was reinstalling this. So in order to adjust that, what you're gonna have to do is come around here. We're gonna have to flip the treadmill back over and take off this rail right here, and by taking that off you'll gain access to that roller so you can readjust the belt on it. Then put the rail back on and we should be good to go. Also, don't forget to put back on the motor hood, otherwise you could damage the internals of the treadmill. Now that the treadmill is flipped over, there's a little screw here that you want to unscrew, and then we can take this little piece off. And now we have full access to the roller. Now, as you can see, here's the roller, here's the belt, which is clearly popped off of it. And in order to readjust it back on, there's a bolt here that you can unscrew just a little bit, not too much, and this will push this roller forward. That way you could have more room to slide this back on to the roller and adjust it how it's supposed to be adjusted. Now, I'm shining a little bit of light so you can see what I'm exactly doing here. What I'm gonna do is try to get this end of the belt on here. And once I get that on, I can then roll this forward while holding the belt on and slide the ribs onto the creases of the roller. This may be kind of difficult, but if you keep holding on, giving a little bit of strength, eventually it'll go right on. Now, to get the belt to be more aligned to the center of the roller, what you want to do is, first and foremost, be careful with your fingers, because you could pinch your fingers easily in these corners and underneath the belt where it meets the roller. You want to prevent as much injuries as possible. So what you want to do is twist the belt this way. And as you're twisting it, you want to pull towards you in your direction. While also twisting it, you want to push a little to the right, kind of like you're trying to shove the belt more towards the right of the roller pulley. As you can see, now it's a little bit more towards the middle, but the grooves are not aligned with the ribs of the belt, so we want to keep doing that until you notice that the grooves are aligned to the middle. Keep spinning, and I believe it's in. And back we go. Then we're going to test this bad boy out. Alright, and as you can clearly see, it is fully functional, working just fine.